Well, I've got a lot of work done since the last update. I've had a lot of work to do with my business and really been burning it at both ends of the candle here, working on the airplane a lot, and kind of forgot to make an update video. So I'll go ahead and shoot one now so that I can kind of remember where I was in this step of the process. So anyway, here's what we've been doing lately. Super cool update. Pretty exciting to see the engine hung on there, and actually the firewall forward's done, and I'm not really even sure where to start here because I've done so much work. So I guess maybe I'll just show you how I did the firewall forward. And again, I'm a novice and I have an amazing friend who is, you know, lifetime experience, IA, ANP, builds tons of airplanes for a living, helping me out. So of course, Cubcrafter's been helping me out a lot too, but I've been having him inspect my work to make sure it's done right. So this is the way I did it. Now this doesn't mean it's like the right way, and there's, you know, thousands of ways to do it, but here's the way I did it. I'll kind of walk you through what this is, and super, super exciting. I put a lot of work into this. It's the Titan 340 engine, the Cubcrafter's Titan 340 engine. It's kind of a hot rod, lightweight engine that's made for Cubcrafters, and there's no accessories on the back, magnetos and vacuum pumps. That makes it a lot lighter than like an 0320, which is, I think this is kind of what it's based on, but it's I think it's a Stroker 320, so it's actually a little bit bigger displacement, 340 cubic inches and 180 horsepower. This one's carbureted. I went with carbureted because it's less complex, lighter weight, and easier to start on floats. And I just like the idea of, well, of course it's a lot less money, which helps a lot too, but I like the idea of a bush plane being as simple as it really can be out in the field. And on floats, carbureted engines are a little easier to start. So anyway, let's walk you through what I did with the engine. So the first thing you might notice is this plenum here that's covering most of the engine. This is a really cool piece made by Cub Crafters, this carbon piece. And this is designed to take air in through the cowl right there and shove it down into the fins of these cylinders as efficient as possible. And it's pretty neat because most airplanes just have the cowling and then this rubber baffling around. That works okay, it works good on all the other airplanes, but this is just kind of a more trick, modern way to do it. And they make you fit perfect, but even then you add RTV everywhere. It's high temp RTV to seal it up really good all the way around. This is the oil cooler, it's built into it. Pretty slick setup, you can see it back in there. Very little trimming to get this fit, which was pretty cool. I had to locate some of these holes, and most of the nut plates are already installed, which was pretty cool. Had to install these ones on the front, but yeah, no big deal, worked out great. Pretty excited about that. So anyway, that plenum, that was the last thing to go on. First thing we did is I put the engine on the engine hoist back there, and then put everything on it, exhaust, everything except for like the heat muffs and the carburetor heat stuff, but most everything, accessories and everything were installed on the engine hoist, including the engine mount, and then put on the airplane. And I'll kind of walk you through what all this stuff is. A lot of it was actually already installed, which made it a lot easier. The instructions have you put like some of the stuff in, and it was already there. But we've got an oil temp sensor here. We've got our oil cooler here with our lines here, oil filler here, oil pressure here, and then we've got this is vacuum. So this goes to the intake part of this cylinder here, to the vacuum sensor that we already have for manifold pressure. And then we have the ignition wires coming through here. These are the ignition pickup wires, and they have to be run separate from the other ignition wires. These are the sensors that sense on the back here. These sensors here that sense the timing on the flywheel here. And then these, they go back to those ignition boxes we put in here. And then these wires go to the coils, and they have to be run separate so they don't have any crossfire there. And they go to these coils we put in here. And these are the new style coils. They've changed them since the book, and I had to get these brackets from them to mount these a little differently. And then we have, of course, it's an airplane, so everything's doubled up. We have plugs, bottom and top. These ones are, these have the seals in them already. So that works that way for the ignition. And then we have the sensors EGT, exhaust gas temperature for each cylinder, and cylinder head temp for each cylinder. And this is the way I ran them. I'm really careful to make sure nothing's gonna rub, nothing's gonna have any abrasion problems with it. That was kind of a primary concern, routing things right, and I had all my work checked. So looks like we got that dialed. So those are on both sides, EGT, CHD. EGT helps me adjust the mixture, the air-fuel ratio, and CHT is kind of the primary instrument to let you know how hot your engine's running, and the health of how you're running it. These right here are for cabin heat. So we got exhaust here, intake here, and on the exhaust gets pretty hot. So we use that excess heat. There'll be air coming in this tube here from the cowling, and it runs through the system here into this box. And this box is controlled with this cable in the cabin to allow hot air in or dump it overboard to get you heat, which is kind of cool. Pretty much all airplanes use that same system. Piston airplanes use that same system. Alternator here, got that wired and set up, safetied. Nothing special there. Got a nice little lightweight starter here. That's all dialed. What do we have over here? We got the gasculator. This is the thing that traps sediment, and we can test our fuel here and drain it for water and sediment. We've got a fuel flow transducer in here. They had wrap in this fire seal tape here, and the fuel line here going to the carburetor. Exhaust again here, intake. We use this exhaust heat, to run to our this intake manifold here, And this right here allows us to put warm air into the carburetor. Carbureted airplane engines are susceptible to what's called carb ice. You can look that up on your own. But anyway, this is how the system works on this Cub Crafters. Exhaust is really cool. It goes into this 4-to-1 collector here and then out. I'm not sure what it's made out of. It almost looks like titanium or something. Pretty cool. And then we have the vent, crankcase vent, and it goes right down into the center of the exhaust collector and down in there. Oil cooler with our fittings here. What else can I show you? Got our primer lines coming through the firewall up here. Primer gets picked off the gasculator up through the firewall into your primer system. Pull it out to suck it in, push it, pushes it out that other copper line down, attaches to the engine here, attaches to the intake here, and then actually primes this cylinder here through this intake port. I'm not sure what else to show you there, but that's pretty dang exciting to get this done. This thing's ready to rock and roll. Okay, really cool Kato propeller. It's actually made out of wood. It's got this this coating on it, and this nickel leading edge. Really lightweight, really cool propeller. Pretty excited about that. The crush plate, these aren't safety yet. My safety wire hasn't shown it. I ordered it, it's gonna be here tomorrow, so I have to safety wire these bolts up before we put the spinner on. I think that's about it I can show you for this here. It's not super complicated. Instructions are pretty good, and I really appreciate my friends, that, especially Terry, to come out and help, and Dan's helped, and I really appreciate needing a hand here or there. You can do pretty much all of it by yourself, but there's a couple things like putting these bolts in where you need somebody on either side of the wrench to help you out. So that worked out pretty good. The other thing we did, which was pretty exciting, you probably noticed maybe in the backgrounds, this looks a lot different in here. This is the interior. It's a these lightweight carbon fiber panels, and super lightweight. And then I added these mat pockets here, which turned out perfect. Pretty excited about that. Yeah, I also ended up putting a mat pocket in the back seat, back of the front seat as well. So I went ahead and upgraded to the Oregon Aero seat, the fabric seat. Kind of the deal breaker for me on this was that this airplane's slow, so I'm going to be sitting in it for a longer time. And if you're flying short haul, I guess the regular seat's fine. But if you're going to be in this thing for hours, the Oregon Aero, I guess, is the way to go. I got to tell you, I've sat in it now for the first time, and it's super comfy. So, and I like fabric in an airplane because leather, to me, yeah, it's more durable and it cleans easier, but it gets really hot and sweaty and it gets really cold. So I'm kind of a fabric guy, but that's neither here nor there. So that's all in, pretty cool. I also opted for their fire extinguisher setup. You can see that down there. Got their Halon fire extinguisher setup. It's just Velcroed in place, so you can quick get that out. You can see my ELTs in there. And then you can see I got tape on here because I don't have this interior panel in yet, because we don't want to put the interior in until we get this door mounted. I gotta get these nuts and bolts in here. One thing I did do, and I'm not even sure if it's in the instructions or not, but this battery here is a little bit smaller than the housing, so I lined the whole thing, every edge of it, in this felt. I had some excess felt. You can see we put felt on the interior here, so the carbon fiber doesn't rub against it and cause abrasion and whatnot. But anyway, that was kind of a cool little upgrade thing I did. Pulled the plastic out of this for the first time, and wow, that looks beautiful. The antenna's still hanging there. I'm leaving the antennas hooked up because every once in a while I turn on the panel, and I'm told that if you turn on the avionics with the antennas not hooked up, you can fry something. So I'll just leave those on for now, and when I get that going, that'll go on the, you can see that piece back there. It'll actually mount to that. That's the turtle deck on top. Also got the flap cones installed. I actually started safety wiring this one, and then I realized, well, that's not going to do me any good because I got to attach the flap to that, and I got to get a socket in there. So anyway, they're in place because I wanted to put these windows in, because these windows, I wanted them centered perfectly on here. And then there's paint. I'm going to paint the windows, and a line that matches perfectly with this window. So those are in a little early because we need to prep for painting the windows. Yeah, and one of the cool things about getting the interior in is you get to put the throttles in, and as you can see, this is the throttles and they're interconnected, which is pretty cool. And so we got the throttle assemblies all built and throttle cable run to the carburetor and set with its stops. And then this here is the fuel selector. I haven't got it labeled yet, but really trick piece. It just clicks in that really nice fill, and then you've got a safety. You push this in to turn this down all the way down to off. So yeah, it's nice having those in. As you can see, we got throttle in the back for when I'm flying from the back seat that I mentioned earlier. Let me think there's anything else we can show you for this update. Got a lot done pretty well far along at this point, and I can really see the light at the end of the tunnel. As soon as I get those wings, I don't have a whole lot more to do. My next step is going to be fitting this cowl. I'll probably fit this tonight. And basically, it's really cool. It's already got the nut plates in, most of it. Sorry for my trash can here, but it's already got nut plates in it, which is really handy. That saves a lot of work. And these are countersunk already. So it's pretty well ready to go on. I love this exposed carbon too. Got some exposed carbon here, and I'll have to figure out a paint scheme that shows that off because I like it. But what you have to do, the reason that the prop's on now, why is the prop on? Well, I wanted to get the prop and spinner, this back plate on here perfectly, because you actually set that cowling clearance on the spinner. It's a little bit long, so you could trim it to hit this line perfectly, because the cowling, you want it to sit flush right here. And then I'll have to put nut plates in all the way around here. So that'll be my next big step, and then that can go off to paint. And hopefully by then we'll have some wings here to throw on. Okay, that's my massive update for now. We'll catch you on the next one.